Dark tourism, a blight on modern tourism or a sadist dream? I do not believe this is the case. Many people resent and outright hate the idea of dark tourism for many reasons. It preys on the suffering of those affected, it only generates profit for those who run it, attracts strange people with strange thoughts, and so on. While these are some good points, this may not always be the case. I believe that dark tourism is important. I believe this because if it were abolished, people would only be learning about the high points in history, except maybe in the classroom. Learning in a classroom, though, does not give the solid feeling of actually being there. I believe this is important because learning only about the high points in society is pure ignorance. And an ignorant society is a controllable society, a blind society, and excuse my frankness, a dumb society. George Santayana gave us this warning: those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And this couldn't be truer. Many places around the world considered for visitation by dark tourists. These places include, but are not limited to, Centralia in Pennsylvania, the Zone of Alienation in Chernobyl, Devil's Island in the French Guiana, and Auschwitz in Poland. They are visited for many reasons: morbid attraction, a dark version of voyeurism, some go for education, and others go for a dark fix. Some people also monetize on these sites, setting up regular tours for people to flock to in groups. Some of these tours also come with a gift shop at the end of the tour. This point brings up a couple of views for and against it. Does the tour take all of the money for profit? There are a lot of worries about this, and in many cases it is true. On the other hand, though, there are tours that take only some of the profit to keep propelling their business, but the rest of the money goes to charity, mainly the victims or those affected by tragedy that took place at the site. For example, Auschwitz takes donations to make sure the victims of the camp are not forgotten in the form of a memorial. The best way to alleviate this is to do research and be wary of which tours you participate in. On the note of participation in dark tours, there are many that wish this practice abolished. I ask, why? Why abolish these tours? What would be the point in only learning about the highlights of history? Referring to the previous quote, wouldn't logic follow that if you know only the highlights of the past, won't you repeat them? I digress, though. Learning about all points in history is very important. Refusing to learn the other half of any story is just plain prejudice and ignorance, the backbone of a utopian-looking dystopia. Ignorance of the people is what's keeping North Korea in the state that it is in, and that it has been in, for hundreds of years. Using Centralia as an example, it was the inspiration for what is considered one of the best video games ever made. Auschwitz was the result of one man who used ignorance of the people and his charismatic skill to rally new followers. The Zone of Alienation in Chernobyl was the result of a nuclear plant going through a meltdown because someone did not do their job properly. He forgot to check the temperature of the reactor core. There are many things to learn from these dark tours, and in the examples, a lot of them were the result of ignorance and the almost downright refusal to learn. Modern-day election process. This one is a two-sided issue. Starting with the forefathers, they designed the election process to revolve around the Electoral College. The Electoral College is not actually picked for office by the vote of the people. People vote for the presidential candidate they want, and the Electoral College in their state is supposed to vote the way the people wanted, in 23 out of the 50 states. 27 states can vote however they would like, which can be a problem due to corruption. If the Electoral College is split, the popular vote comes into account. Most people do not know this and believe their vote actually counts towards who becomes President of the United States of America. My other example is a quote from the 16th President Abraham Lincoln. "A house divided against itself cannot stand," said June 16, 1858. This is largely ignored today because nobody cares to know about it. It is a warning against having a two-party system because it will split the country in two, much like the election of 2016, with rampant riots following afterwards. This causes many more problems than a 10-party system because it would help spread the problem out. Both sides of a story diminishes ignorance. providing for a well-rounded society. It helps us learn from the past and keeps us from repeating it. As it comes to dark tourism, I implore you to visit the darkest places on the planet. Visit Auschwitz, Centralia, Chernobyl, and Fukushima. Educate yourself and help provide for your future, your children's future, and their children's future with a brighter outcome. We do not need a utopia, we just need a future without a utopian-faced dystopia, as so many of the world's population fears today.